I personally used to hate Christians. I have never had a Christian friend. I have never visited a church. I have never seen a Bible in my entire life. But I was taught in the Quran school to hate Jews and Christians. I went to a government elite school. We were all Muslims. And when there came a Christian from Southern Sudan, he was the only student in the school who was from Southern Sudan, and it happened to be a Christian. And he came and sat next to me, and his name was Zachariah. I hated him. I hated him because he's from Southern Sudan, a different culture. I hated him because he was a Christian. You know, we hit him, we beat him like nearly every single day. But what struck me, he was very nice. And then I thought, how can an unbeliever be so nice and so smart? You know, I had this picture about Christians are immoral, Christians are like the bad people. You know, morally, he was the best one in the class. And you insult him, he always smiles at you. You do bad things to him, he's never hitting back. And this actually struck me inside, you know, and I started even to hate him more because of that. And then one day I said to my friends, we need to kill Zachariah. We need to kill him because he's a Christian, and we need actually to clean the school from an unbeliever. And in one night, we attacked him. We attacked him in the wood, in the forest, in a very dark night. He was walking under a tree, and we climbed on the tree and we waited for him. And when he came, we jumped on him, and we had our guns because we had a military training that time. And we hit him so bad, and he was crying, was shouting. And so we hit him so bad, and he was almost dead. He almost died. And we left him in the wood in the middle of this dark night so that he will die. And Zachariah never came back again to school. Even though my family, they were really fanatic Muslims, I had a very good family. So and that's why my family was very important to me. So when I told my father that I became a Christian, and I used the word Christian, you know, and I think that was a problem. And that was the first time that I saw his crying. And then he said to me, we cannot accept you. And I had to leave home. I walked out from my family and knowing never to be back again. Like a couple of days later, I bought the normal newspaper that we have in Khartoum, just reading it. And then in the last page, I will see a big picture of me, my picture, in the newspaper as a death announcement. So my family, they declared me to be dead. I no longer live. And not only that, they brought a coffin, they made a funeral, and they said, our son is dead. And they brought this coffin to the cemetery, and they buried it there. So I was arrested several times. And the last time I was arrested for 7 weeks. We came into this prison, and outside you could hear the screaming of people already. People are screaming. Got inside, people are being beaten up with cables, you know, tied on the walls. Men are screaming naked. And it has a very bad smell. I did not know from where the smell came. They brought me to a basement downstairs. It was very dark. No light came in. And they brought me in a small cell. Total alone. There's nobody there. So this room was so small, I could not stand and I could not sit. I could not lay down and exchange. And this bad smell came very, very, very strong. So the next day when the guard was coming with his torch, bringing food to me, I would see like in the floor, so many dead bodies. So I went through lots of persecution. I find my comfort actually when I start to recite or to read the Lord's Prayer. Like the Lord's Prayer, it starts, Our Father in heaven. And there I got to know a God is not that the one who created me in his image and left me, but a God that I could call him Father. There I found my identity and my destiny in it. And whenever I prayed, I looked to God as my Father, that I could always come to him. And I know a day will never come where this Father will tell to me, you are no longer my son. Following Christ is going to cost us. And the most important thing, we need to know our Bible. You know, in that dark place where I was imprisoned, what carries me is the Word of God, not my emotions, you know, not the security that I have, but the promises that I have. When Jesus said, I will be with you every day till the end of time, and in this dark moment, he was my light and my refuge. And I could see that. I could see that even though the cell is so dark. But there I experienced the reality of Jesus being the light of the world. And that's what carried me. 7 weeks. I went the first time back to the Middle East after many years. And I was teaching in Cairo in a seminary there. And then after my teaching was done, a Southern Sudanese came to me with his gray hair, and he came to me and he started to speak to me. He asked me where I came from. I told him my name, my family name, and where I lived in Khartoum. And this pastor started to cry. And then I asked him, why are you crying? And then he looked at me and he said to me, do you remember me? I told him, I can't remember you. I have never met you. And then he would look me into the eye, straight into the eye, and he would say to me, my name is Zachariah. So that was this person that I almost killed one day. I met him 25 years later. And the minute he said his name, I saw his broken arm and his broken leg, and I saw the injuries in his face. The injuries in his face where actually I damaged him. I saw his eye, with which he no longer see because we injured him. And it came a silent moment where I didn't know what to say. I expected many things that he would say, but one thing I never expected to hear from him. Zachariah would look me straight into my eye. He said to me, Yassir, because you hated me so much, you persecuted me so much, I always prayed for you. And on that moment in Cairo, in the year of 2007, I grasped why God would deal with a person like me. Because Zachariah prayed for me. I hated him. He prayed for me. Persecuted him. He prayed for me. He moved his broken arm, got his bag, opened his bag. He took his Bible out. He opened it. And in the first page, he wrote my name. And he was praying 25 years for me. That's the answer to persecution, to hate, is prayer.